All right, I'm joined by my colleague Alex Sear to break down arguably one of the great performances of the 2025 Berlin Marathon, Mr. Harry Styles.
What? This is what you brought me in here to do? Oh.
Sub-3 hour marathon runner, Harry Styles. You think he's the most proud of the Sub-3 marathon of all of his accomplishments in life thus far? He's been in a Christopher Nolan film. He sold millions of copies of his album. He is one of the biggest pop stars in the world. But you got to run a sub-3 hour marathon. And he has joined a rather exclusive club by cracking 3 hours at the Berlin Marathon. We're going to break down his splits, because I think it's the most impressive part about this whole thing. Let's call it a meteoric rise as a marathon runner, because now he's done a couple of marathons that we know about at least. And Alex, I've got one flaming hot take to throw at you.
Okay.
Later on in this breakdown here. First things first is the time. He ran 2:59:13. So this was not even super dramatic for Mr. Styles. He ran fairly evenly. Berlin was now famously going down in history as, I think it's the hottest Berlin marathon on record.
Mm-hmm.
Starting temperatures were in the early 20s Celsius, so that's the high 60s. Very humid, very sunny, like being in a microwave. And by the time he crossed the finish line, which would have been started at around 9:15. That was the first wave in the elites. We don't know exactly where he started in the race, but let's say he finished about 3 hours later. It was high 20s. It was in the high 20s, if not 30 degrees Celsius when he crossed the finish line. So,
and the man is wearing a long sleeve.
And yeah, okay, we can break down the outfit in a second here, because I've got some thoughts. I've got some notes on the outfit. There's some interesting details there that we've dissected from the various photographs that have popped up. But yeah, our news editor, Jesse, pinged our Slack channel very early on in the aftermath of the Berlin Marathon yesterday. And she's like, I think Harry Styles ran Berlin, because she was seeing on our social feeds all these runners posting, not a lot of runners, but a few different runners had spotted him in the corrals waiting for the start of the race. And they're like, I think that's Harry Styles. And so a couple of people got selfies with him, which is kind of cool. And nice enough that he did that. But this is not somebody who has been branding himself as a runner, not somebody who, from what I can tell, has been posting a whole lot about running. Definitely paparazzi over the last year or so has photographed him running in various parts of the world. So he's obviously been training. Sub-3 hour marathon is no joke.
Yeah, I think it's like the opposite of what we've seen from many celebrities who run the marathon. When a celebrity runs a marathon, you know about it. Like, I remember, I think it was Kevin Hart. I don't want to throw him under the bus completely, because I'm not 100% sure if it was Kevin Hart, and I'm pretty certain that it was Kevin Hart doing the New York City Marathon, something like maybe 8 to 10 years ago. And it's all that anyone wanted to talk about on the broadcast, including Kevin Hart. Yeah, now that I'm talking about it, totally was Kevin Hart. He was on the course, he had a phone, and it was a show. I think he ran something far over 4 hours. We looked at a list of the fastest celebrity marathoners, and Kevin Hart's not even on there. So that was my conception of what it was for a celebrity to run a marathon. So I like the secrecy. He didn't even use his name. The name he used, Ted Sarandos. So a play on the Netflix co-CEO, Ted Sarandos. So I feel like he didn't really want people to know that he was doing this.
So Styles has been, I'm sure there's subreddits forming about this already, but analyzing why the pseudonym, why that pseudonym in particular. I don't know what his relationship to Netflix is like. I know that he was in Dunkirk, the Christopher Nolan film, and I know that Nolan famously does not like the streaming giants and likes to shoot on film and have his movies in the movie theaters, and is anti-Netflix from what I know. I don't know if this was like a diss at Mr. Sarandos or what, or maybe they've got some sort of personal relationship. I don't know, but interesting choice of names. Tough to find him initially, but then you just typed Stead as the given name in Berlin's searchable results, and then voila, we got the full list. Let's go through the splits here because they're really interesting. Okay, so comes through 5K in 21:06. First of all, he starts back in the corrals, so he doesn't cross the start line for a couple of minutes. So we're going by his chip time here, not the gun time, because that's how you count results for all of us mere mortals, including Mr. Styles. So 21:06, 10K through 42:17. That's a very impressive 10K. 15K 103:32, 20K 124:27, and then the big tell here, of course, is the half split 129:08. So that makes it he's pacing it out at 2:58:16 pace. And then it doesn't really fall off from there. He like kind of holds on nicely all the way up until finishing in 2:59:13. So that's less than a minute positive split on an extremely hot day.
So last January, 2 weeks before the Houston Half Marathon, my coach made me do what he called the impossible workout. 30 minutes at threshold pace, followed by 1 kilometer of kicking, even faster. All of it at half marathon pace, which for me is about 4:56 per mile.
You had to slide that one in there, didn't you, sir?
My point is that running on frozen roads near my house in Toronto to do this workout sounded daunting, and going to some gym and running on a regular treadmill sounded even worse. Luckily, Michael had a Wahoo Kicker Run treadmill stashed in his home in northern Toronto, and so I took advantage of that last winter.
So that's why you kept coming over to my house all the time.
I mean, I also came for the company.
Sure.
And mainly for the Kicker Run's run-free mode, where the treadmill uses sensors to adjust its carpet speed so that it can respond to your running speed in real time. So it responds to you, and not the other way around. Now that was helpful for the workout's kick portion, so I could accelerate naturally without having to worry about pressing buttons all the time. The treadmill also comes with the lateral tilt feature, which will simulate the angles of running on a natural terrain. So every step is not the same, which is a good thing. And it's kind of like if you're running outdoors. And bonus, the Kicker Run connects with a laundry list of third-party apps, including Strava, the Wahoo Run app, and Zwift, so you can run free in Watopia.
It's quiet, simple, and effective. The treadmill follows you and not the other way around. It's available in the US, the UK, Germany, and Austria. And now you can get a free Headwind smart fan worth $319 when you order the Kicker Run from Wahoo Fitness using the promo code MHRUN. That's all one word, MHRUN. Take our word for it, as well as the professional athletes that use it, including ultra runner David Roche, triathlete Chelsea Sodero, Olympic gold medalist Cole Hawker.
And now, me!
Okay, let's get to the show. You know what I did is I decided to have a little conversation with ChatGPT about the effects that heat and humidity have on marathon performances. And there is some science about this, right? We know the ideal temperatures for running a marathon is around, give or take, 10 or 12 degrees Celsius with low humidity and cloud cover, right? So this is a totally imperfect analysis, but what myself and my AI assistant figured out here over some prodding was he probably was in the range of running around a 2:53 to 2:54 marathon if it were a perfect day for marathon running, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, even a commonsensical non-AI analysis would suggest that he had faster in him. Most other athletes on the pro side completely missed out on their times or dropped out entirely. In fact, the overall men's winner, Sebastian Sawe, had a similar split profile. He positive split it by, I guess, a little over a minute. If anything, Styles had more of an even split than Sawe. And then on the other side of things, I have a few friends who ran the Berlin Marathon. They all missed their marks this year. They had goals and they all missed it by 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes. And so, yeah, it's no stretch, I think, to say that he probably had faster in him on a hot day. Should we break down the gear? Because I'm really puzzled as to why he wore a long sleeve.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, we'll go through the gear. I want to talk a little bit about his brief history at the marathon. And then I got a question for you about celebrities running marathons, and then I'll throw my hot take at you as well.
Ooh, okay.
And then I have a little prediction as to where we might see Mr. Styles next when it comes to marathon running. I've got some thoughts.
Okay.
I see where this is going. I've got like, I think Harry Styles is one of us, man.
Well, this is why we're doing the pod, right?
I think he's a running sicko. I think he's a real one. I think he's into running. This is not a bucket list thing. This is not to raise money for a charity he's deeply associated with thing. This is a personal pursuit, and he is clearly obsessed with running, and he's clearly doing the work, because you don't run a sub 3 hour marathon, even as a 31-year-old. You do not run a sub 3 hour marathon without training. So I'd love to know like how many kilometers he's doing, how he's fitting it all in. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's break down the gear first. Okay. I'm looking at a photo here. I'll edit in a photo. We'll edit in a photo of him on race day out there, because it's a specific look. It's definitely a little bit of there's a little bit of a rock star vibe to the look, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like a little off, but there's some key pieces here that signal to me real runner. For one, guy's wearing a pair of Vaporfly 4s, so he's wearing a pair of super shoes. So this was race day for him. This was I'm going after a PR day. This was important to him. This is not just about comfort. He's wearing the Vaporfly 4s. He's wearing the current colorway of bright crimson, mint foam, cave purple, and lime blast. So
Excellent.
the ones you see out there that are sort of like reddish orange with a touch of green.
It's the one as I have. I
got a pair too.
I think they're at your place, maybe. But yes.
They are, yes. Yeah, they're great. And so good choice by him. Comfortable shoe. I think it's the most comfortable super shoe that's ever been made. Not like primo performance shoe, not rocking the Alpha Fly. Maybe that would be a little note that we'd provide to Mr. Styles for next time around is, you're super famous and presumably filthy rich. So spoil yourself. Leverage your contacts at Nike. Get the Alpha Fly. I'm sure there's a prototype out there that they'd lend to you as well. Going up the chain here. Looks like a pair of legit running shorts he's wearing. That's definitely, I can't tell, I don't see a logo on there, but they're pretty short. And they look like they're like a racing short. It's not
the length seems right.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't scan. It's not a ball short. It's not a training item. It's not like non-running. That's a running short he's wearing. Crazy thing here. It was like 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. And the man is wearing a long sleeve black shirt. And I cannot tell if that is technical material or not. There is no branding on it. Got the sleeves sort of cinched up a little bit, but he is wearing a long sleeve shirt. I'm hot just looking at the photo. It's like, another note would be like, get you in a singlet, man. Like that's, you didn't do yourself any favors wearing a long sleeve shirt on a hot day in a marathon. It's got like a little, like a bandana, like a kerchief that he's wearing to block the sweat. He's not a hat guy. And he's got a pair of District Vision. I had to dig a little bit here. District Vision eyewear sunglasses. These are fancy running kind of indie brand. It's like $300 for a pair of sunglasses. They're nice sunglasses. And most surprising of all that I saw people giving him flack about, he's rocking an Apple Watch.
Yeah. Which I guess is like, and not just any Apple Watch. What I think is the Series 10 or Series 11 Apple Watch. Definitely a series version of the Apple Watch, which is kind of the rung below the Apple Watch Ultra. So it's like the Vaporfly version of the Alpha Watch, or of the Apple Watch, if you will.
Instead of the Alpha Fly, isn't it? If you're talking about hierarchy of gear, he's wearing the everyman Apple Watch.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Do you think all of it factors into his desire to disguise himself a little bit?
Oh, it's like if I wear this stuff, I look normie and I kind of fit in. I'm like hiding a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I think he'd be like sunglasses and hat if he was really trying to hide it. I mean, certainly wearing the long sleeve might cover up some of the tattoos. He's very famously has some kind of signature identifying tattoos like the butterflies and that sort of thing. But I think he's wearing the Apple Watch. I mean, I don't know why he's not wearing the Ultra one. Come on. The good people at Apple are very good at connecting with celebrities and notable people in the world and making sure that they get slid Apple products. They're very good at that. And I'm surprised he's not wearing the Ultra. Maybe he just thought it was like too bulky, and maybe it's more watch than he needs. And he might be right on that because the Series 10 and 11 are perfectly fine for running.
Yep.
And there's a key element here. He has also got AirPods in. So he's listening to music off of his Apple Watch. Speculations as to what he's listening to. What do you think Harry Styles is? What kind of guys? Is he listening to his own music?
Oh my God, I was going to wonder, is he listening to what
some
about
demos? He's just like working through some tracks that he's developing right now.
I feel like you said you think he's a total sicko. Like I think he's probably more tapping into the chaos version. Like he's not going there to run a leisurely marathon. I think he's probably listening to something hardcore. I see him as like a rock guy. He listens to rock. I think so. Because this is like the hard version or the hard part of Harry Styles' personality, right? Like I don't think he's into the soft stuff. Not to run a Sub-3. He's business.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think he's listening to like minimal techno or something like that. I think he's listening to like serious. Well, he's in Berlin. I mean, no better place to listen to the epicenter of minimal techno. I think he's just absolutely crushing something. I'm trying to think of an example. Something a little bit more obscure. Singlet. And I think apart from that, the guy looks like a runner. It's all come together for him. So, next thoughts. Let's do the celebrity thing here. Here's my hot take. I think Harry Styles is the most famous person to have ever run a marathon. I think. No, maybe not. But he's certainly, he's up there. He's certainly the greatest celebrity marathoner. He is the GOAT celebrity marathoner now. Sub 3 hour marathon by someone of that stature. I think the combination of celebrity and performance, I think he's up there. I know Christy Turlington runs runs marathons. She's run the New York Marathon a bunch of times. I know she's like a serious runner that's been running for years. But performance-wise, I don't think it compares. The supermodel, Christy Turlington, you may not even know who she is. Different generation. But Harry Styles might be the most famous, the GOAT celebrity marathoner. There's my hot take.
Yeah, I think so. I think the colder version of that take is he's, I think, definitely the most famous person to run under 3 hours for the marathon, which would make him the GOAT, I suppose. Like he's got a few. Like I went and looked at who were the other notable celebrities to have run a marathon. And yes, there was Turlington. The second person on the list I had to Google. And so I don't know if they count, but that's also, he's a British TV personality. His name is Spencer Matthews. So this might also just be I'm a North American type of thing. Bryan Cranston ran a pretty good marathon. You got to shout out to him. So Walter White on Breaking Bad, if you don't know of Bryan Cranston, he's kind of in everything now. He ran a 3:20. Yeah, and I'd say before Styles entered the game, he was probably your GOAT marathoner, and even up until the Berlin Marathon, because we should say that Styles dropped a 3:24 earlier this year in Tokyo. So this was a big improvement for him. So by then, Cranston already had him. A couple other big celebrities finished marathons, but nowhere near at Styles' pace. So Ryan Reynolds has a 3:50 to his name from 2008 New York City Marathon. Ashton Kutcher has a 3:20, 3:54 from New York City in 2022. Will Ferrell, 3:56, Boston Marathon 03. Yeah. So, but still, that's a whole different ball game to be under 3. So yeah, I think you're right. I think he's the GOAT.
The only other person I can think of that has not that magnitude of celebrity, but approaching that, who's run really well is Lance Armstrong. He ran, I think, a 250 in Boston many years ago.
Yeah.
But that doesn't count because Lance Armstrong was a professional athlete. That's what he's famous for. And he was also a doper.
Yeah, he was on the sauce as well. Like I doubt Harry Styles is on the juice.
Harry Styles is clean. I don't know. I don't know much about Mr. Styles' personal life, but I'm just going to go ahead and say I think he was clean breaking 3 hours. But yeah, so here's my thinking. Because we know that Harry Styles is a dyed-in-the-wool runner. He's an obsessive. We should say he ran Tokyo in March. This is where this all began, is that he was emerged out of nowhere on the radar. Same scenario. People started spotting him. Couple of selfies leaked onto Instagram. And then it was like, wait a minute. Harry Styles ran Tokyo. And then we got a time. He ran 3:24:07. Check these splits out for Tokyo. 1:42:03 first half. Okay. 1:42:04 second half.
Perfect.
So he is well coached. He's doing the work clearly. I bet for Berlin, he must have been running 100-kilometer weeks to get a sub-3.
Maybe so.
He is obviously taking the advice of whomever is coaching him, and it's good advice because he's executing on the marathon really well. And also he's got room to improve. Okay. So remember off the top there, I floated this idea that if this was a perfect weather day, caught lightning in a bottle, and he executed this excellent patient strategy that he's clearly capable of rolling out in a marathon, that he would have run around 2:54, 2:53. Open qualifying time for the Boston Marathon is 2:55. What do the running sickos want more than anything else? The Sub-3 clan. What do we want? We want to run the Boston Marathon. I think Harry Styles is going to become obsessed with trying to qualify for Boston.
Yeah, I could see that. Probably a 2027 entry at this point, right? Which means he needs to stay on the ball for another 18 months plus, giving him a bunch of time to race and to improve and jump into some other races. It's interesting. I think he probably ran his first marathon too slow. That's usually what happens when your splits are completely even. You finish and say, oh, I had more in the tank. That's kind of what I did for my first half marathon. It's like, oh, there's more. And so this was probably more of an accurate representation of what he could do. And then there was the heat. So I don't know. Now I'm wondering how fast he could go. He's probably a 240s type of guy in a few months.
Mid 240s if he applies himself. But no, he's seriously, obviously into it and following a training plan. I think it's easy and very kind of like a facile thing to say, like a lazy argument to say, like, he's a famous person. He doesn't really work. He's got all this time. He can take a nap, blah, blah, blah. I imagine that he's an extremely hardworking person. He's got a lot of irons and a lot of fires. He's got a movie coming up. I'm sure he's recording music. I'm sure he's planning a tour. He's obviously got to be extremely fit. There's all kinds of articles about his workout routine, a la Taylor Swift, in order to like stay fit to go on tour and do the song and dance thing on the stage on the stage every night. But you don't just then go out and run a sub-3 hour marathon. You have to also put in like 10-mile days and that sort of thing, and long runs. So I think he'd be greedy if we saw him in New York, although it's too bad because New York's probably the perfect fit for a guy like that because it's a massive city and a massive race and you can kind of hide a little bit in New York. I think he's not going to slide into Boston a la Will Ferrell back in the day and get a celebrity bib. I think that if he is a true dyed-in-the-wool obsessive runner, he will want to earn his entry into Boston with a legit qualifier, which means that he has to run in the low 250s at this stage. I think we'll see him. London's a risky one because he's a native son of England, so he'll just be swamped by media attention if they find out he's running the race in advance. But London would be a good fit. Clearly wants to do the majors, right? He's already done 2 majors. He's going after the 7 stars.
Well, do you know where people tend to hide when they try to hide? Down under, Australia. Why not Sydney?
Yeah, next fall. Tough course for sure. Chicago, could do Chicago next fall as well. Anyway, really curious to see. I think keep an eye on the majors, and curious to see what his alias is in the next go round. Perhaps another streaming executive. I don't know. All right. I think we have. This is the comprehensive analysis of Harry Styles' marathon running career up until this point. Very interested to see what he does next.
And if you think that we've wasted airtime talking about a celebrity today instead of perhaps, I don't know, Sebastian Sawe again, let me just let you know, dear listener, respectfully, just stop your crying. It's a sign of the times.
Well done. And there's nothing wrong with having a really famous person that loves running and clearly,
no, that's fun.
And clearly loves it the way that we do, right? Clearly by the performance alone, as it was. Okay, so
yeah, I almost missed that one. Well
all
done,
right, Mr. Sear.
Till next time.
Till next time.